All right, what's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to CapeCast, everybody. Brandon, how you doing?
Good, Ryan. How's your Memorial Day been? Can you hear me?
It's going good, man. We were
Okay.
I can. Yes.
It was like
We're
a
out at the
5-second delay. I was like, can you hear me or no? Okay.
Yeah, we went out to the lake this weekend. And of course we got Alan here too. He's rocking his CapeCast merch, which we love
What's
to
up,
see.
Alan?
What you drinking there, Alan? Show everybody.
Oh man, a nice frosty beverage
CapeCast.
in the
CapeCast
CapeCast.
There
brew.
you go.
Yeah, there we go.
That's right.
We need to do
All right.
we need to do a special release whiskey that's called Cape Cask, right?
Hey,
Right?
that would be nice.
You live out in the country. You probably got some connections with folks. Maybe moonshine. We could do moonshine.
There we go. Let's do moonshine. There we go.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Well, this is we last week and a half we've had like internet issues for me and Al. So we are finally back.
Still going through them.
Yeah, back in the saddle. And if you guys tell me if my internet bugs out, everybody knows I'm going to be in a new spot next week. I've got all my internet set up out there, and now I've got our last episode in here, so I'm hoping to squeak by. But you guys let me know, Alan and Brandon, if I need to jump off and get on my phone.
It might be something to look into because I can see that there's at least a 5 to 10 second delay from you hearing us. So
okay, I'll just do it now then.
You're not laughing at our jokes quickly, so I can tell like something's off. You're not like usually you're like really like right in tune with me when it comes to my jokes, and today you're just like you're not quite there. So I can tell it's got to be the internet. It's got to be the internet.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and
So,
hotspot.
do you really want me to jump
Alan
off?
and I.
Okay.
Alan and I can take care of it while you get your hotspot set up.
All right.
It's okay.
All right, bye.
So, Alan,
What up?
how's it been going? How's your Memorial Day?
Good. I was in the office all day today, so nothing really.
Oh man,
Nothing eventful. Got to hang out with Mandy and the boys for a little while. We went outside. Mandy bought these really cool like styrofoam airplanes that do all these crazy loops when you throw them. So me and Cal and Trey, and we hung out and did that. My baby brother's watching. Daniel Cromer over there. That's my
nice.
my little brother.
Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Thanks for tuning in. I like the zombie emojis. It's
Yeah.
relevant. Very relevant for tonight. Yeah. So for those of you that don't already know, if you can't tell by the title here, we are going to do basically, we just figured it's been 2 weeks now, I guess, since Army came out.
Yeah.
3, I guess, if you count the theatrical release the week before. So figured that since it's on Netflix, people have enough time to kind of check it out. It's widely available. And we could just do like normally we wouldn't do like a live spoiler talk unless it's something that's like, if it was like something theatrical that a lot of people haven't had time to check out. That's one thing. But since this is, most people that would want to see it or want to tune in, you've had time to check it out. So be warned. If you have not watched Army of the Dead, this is going to be spoiler.
Spoilers!
So yeah, spoilers ahead for those of you that are weary of those. Yeah, while we wait on Ryan to get his internet, I mean, the guy lives in Atlanta where they have the fastest internet that you can get. And I live in Royston. I live in Royston, which has the slowest internet that you can get. And 2 weeks in a row, I've had to just like wait on my 2 co-hosts in a machine to get their internet handled. I don't get it. I don't get I would expect it from me, but
Yeah, for sure.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I don't know.
Over here in little old Anderson, I've got 400 right now pumping
That's
through
amazing.
this computer.
I would love for anybody to guess what my max download speed is here in Royston. Guess, just anybody out there that has any guess. What do you think, Alan? What do you think I can get?
Oh man, are you chugging along at like a 10, 12 on your download?
A little bit better. Not
Oh,
much
really?
though. Like 15 max is what I get.
Wow.
Yeah, 15.
Well,
So
see, we had our heart telephone there, so we had pretty slow when we lived in Hartwell. So
yeah.
yeah.
Hartwell, Hartwell's a little bit bigger city than us, so they have a little bit better internet, better infrastructure. But yeah, right now we're doing wireless ISP, which is similar to like LTE. So it's like
Okay.
it's what I can get. So thankful to have internet at least. But yeah, so like I said, we are doing Army of the Dead tonight. If you've seen it, then you know that it's out on Netflix. It also was out theatrical a week prior. It came out May 21st on Netflix, and you can backdate that 7 days for that theatrical window. I don't want to do the math, so you just have to figure it out on your own. A lot of you know, if you've tuned into CapeCast, you know that Ryan and myself were big Zack Snyder fans. I don't think that's a secret. Is that correct, Alan?
Yeah. I'd say everybody that's on here right now probably knows that.
Yeah. And I am saying specifically Ryan and I. We do not include Al. It is well known Al is not. He's not a superhero fan. He doesn't like Zack Snyder, even though he lives rent free in Al's head weekly. It's like he just can't seem to stop bringing him up. But it's okay. We love it. But yeah. So as far as excitement levels, Ryan and I were both pretty excited about this movie. Mm-hmm. Alan, I assume you were as well.
Oh yeah,
you're a big Snyder fan.
Yeah.
We had you on, Alan, for was it part 6 of Justice League?
Yes.
Was it part 5? I can't remember.
Oh no, it was part 6 was the.
Welcome back.
Hey.
Let's move everybody around again. You look so much better.
Yeah. I'm working off my iPhone now, so
nice.
I've
downgraded. Well, it looks great.
Wow.
Listen. I think your camera still looks pretty great, but I'm glad to maybe people will start commenting on my camera setup now. Like Ryan's on his iPhone. He'll probably get the comments. Yeah. But I've got the red background, so that's at least something.
There you go.
But you got another is something else on here that's on the stream that's you?
Yeah, I'm just getting there so I can get on the comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sorry. So where y'all at?
We haven't gone anywhere. We're just kind of just shooting the breeze, just talking to each other, seeing how everything's going, talking about our relationship with Snyder and Al's lack of relationship with Snyder, and I guess we haven't really got into how we saw this yet. I know Ryan, you saw this actually in theaters a week prior to us seeing it,
which you would think would be awesome, but when you go into the theater and their center speaker is blown, it's not so great.
Yeah. I've had plenty of those scenarios.
I rewatched again this weekend, and I was able to enjoy the visual side of it when I was in theaters, and I did appreciate that. But rewatching it this weekend, I just realized how much it distracted me from what all was going on in the movie. I enjoyed it. The second audio thing was a lot better. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I enjoyed it a lot more the second time through. Picked up on a lot more too.
Nice. So Ryan saw it in theaters a week prior to Netflix. Alan, how'd you see Army of the Dead? Just curious.
I went to this really kick-ass theater in Vanna, Georgia, and watched this. Yeah.
I didn't know they had theaters in Vanna.
Well, I got this buddy of mine. He's got one. It's pretty cool. Brandon, I really do appreciate you having me over, Brandon. It was really awesome.
Oh man, we'll do it again. It was fun. Yeah, Alan came up from Anderson to my place, and we were supposed to have a few other people over, but they bailed. So whatever. Yeah. It happens. But Alan came the longest way, and I appreciate him making the trip. So, but yeah, we watched some Army of the Dead. Why is your analog Ryan? I don't get it. What is it? Analog.
It's just I'm a step back, Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Ryan, but you and I both have gotten into analog recently with our vinyl addiction. So it's not
Yeah, but
necessarily a
I'm
step
not
back,
full.
is it?
I'm not full analog yet. You know, I don't have those.
Well, I
Those.
mean,
Yeah, I'll get there one day, but you
yeah. Well, we
know.
technically neither of us are. We're cheating a little bit with the
I'm thinking
Bluetooth.
more broadcast versus music, you know, like television
Yeah.
broadcast. Yeah, but it's all right. It's all
Yeah. Okay.
I'll change
Question,
it.
Ryan.
What's up?
This is a technical question. Do you is your mic on your earbuds or is
I've
it
got
do
on
you
my
have a
earbuds. Yeah.
okay. It's a little quiet, but I don't know if you can up that at all.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I doubt it.
okay. So, well, if you have one of those like fancy little iPhone headphones with the mic, lapel mic that comes with it,
Here we go.
that could work too.
That work? Is that any better? Testing?
It's
Nope.
I don't know.
It's a little
Sounds about the same.
Okay.
But
Oh well.
it's okay. We'll make do. There's no worries.
All right.
Just
I'll
wanted
just
to
speak up.
That's better. Yeah, you can speak
Hey,
up.
there you go.
So Alan came to my place. We watched it. We really didn't. Alan, I mean, we briefly talked about it after the movie. I know that we both were kind of in a place where we were like, kind of like working our way as far as like how we felt about it, because it wasn't like it's not one of those movies for me, at least, that was like, okay, I love this movie, you know, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I think that as far as a zombie genre movie, I think this is one of the better ones. And as far as those movies, I mean, I'm not diehard. And I think Ryan is kind of the same. I'm not a diehard zombie fan, but I do watch them. And I watched The Walking Dead and kind of lost interest about 4 seasons in. I would definitely put this on the level of like obviously Dawn of the Dead. It's on that level. The 28 Days Later. I never saw the sequel to that. But those are the two that always come to mind as far as I never saw any of the old school like Romero ones. But Shaun of the Dead. It's also good. So it's in the like the lexicon, I would say, of those good, you know, and it's the thing about this is Ryan and I, and I'm sure you, Alan, as well, we both have this like pretty high level opinion of Snyder's stuff, as far as the superhero genre, you know, his Watchmen flick 300.
I've seen them.
Yeah, you know the ones. We this was never going to compete with that. Like, it was never going to compete with BVS, Man of Steel, ZSJL 300. Like, I didn't hold it to that. So as far as a genre flick, I think it's really, really good. For a Snyder flick, it's like down below. It's like towards the Sucker Punch, Owls of Ga'Hoole for me. And I think it, for me, and I don't know how that ranks for you guys, but Sucker Punch is probably my least favorite Snyder flick. I like Owls of Ga'Hoole a lot better than Sucker Punch.
I think Sucker Punch.
Honestly, Dawn of the Dead, I haven't even seen it since it came out in theaters, so I couldn't really I saw it before I even knew who Snyder was, so it's not that fresh in my mind, so I can't really compare it, to be honest. I don't know about you guys. How, as far as, well, I guess let me do this. I don't want to like chase too many rabbits here. I'll just say this. Ryan's used to this. I go on these like long tangents when I give my like initial reactions, and I haven't even really got into my reaction yet. I'm just like kind of jumping the gun a little bit. Right. I like this movie. I thought it was really good overall. I thought that, I mean, just the whole like Dawn of the Dead meets like Ocean's 11 with like some alien stuff mixed in. It's obviously super tropey, and that's intentional. Snyder said as much. Sometimes it's a little too tropey for my taste. We can get into that later. But I thought that, you know, as far as like the pros, it's like it's got great action as expected. The gore was awesome. I thought that like a lot of it seemed pretty practical, like the chunky like brain matter, you know, explosion effects, like all the body horror stuff was like really well done, I thought. Prosthetics amazing. That translucent, like white or like loose skin with the alphas was really cool. Like all that practical stuff. Obviously, I mean, we'll talk about it later. Ryan, we've talked a lot going into this about the whole Dreamland stuff. All that stuff was really, really well done. Enjoyed it. And I thought it brought a different kind of like, being that it's like set in the desert and set in Vegas, and this whole like, and it does have this like, this weird like whimsical nature to like the whole like Vegas approach with the alien lore, and then you introduce like, which I guess we'll have to get into later, the whole like time stuff that may or may not be there. It's an interesting angle to take, that with that Dreamland's super shallow depth of field stuff. But anyway, I got other things I want to say, but I don't want to hog the mic too much. So let's move on to Alan since he's a guest. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm going to cut you off and I'm going to go to
It's all good.
I don't know. I kind of share the same sentiment on most of it. It was, I have a hard time not judging anything right now compared to Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, I mean, especially when it's the man himself, so naturally there was a little judgment.
So I'm going to cut you off. I have to acknowledge this. I have seen it, John. I have seen it. This isn't, so I know that there's a running joke with me, like not seeing movies. But I have seen Dawn, but I just haven't seen it since theater. So it's not one that I've returned to. It's just not fresh in my mind. So I can't really rank it amongst the other Snyder stuff. But anyway, sorry, Alan, you go ahead.
No. And, in short, I mean, it was, for me, I would put it right there with his Dawn of the Dead, as far as I was really nervous because the last one that I'd seen that he actually did most of the writing was Sucker Punch. And like you said, it's probably my least favorite. I mean, I enjoy it and, I own it, but I
think that one also got pretty meddled with.
Yeah.
He's talked a lot lately about his director's cut, not having seen the light of day yet. So I'd be interested for sure to see it. It just never, and I saw Sucker Punch last year for the first time. I bought it on Blu-ray and just, I was late to the game for that one. And it was solid, but just not something that I was like super into.
Yeah, it was, I actually, what was it? Someone had interviewed Deborah and she said that Zack had told her he didn't know if he'd ever have another DP. He may end up just doing it himself. And what he did with this, I mean, as far as whether you want to look at it as a zombie movie or whatever, it was beautiful. I mean, there were a couple of times where the dream lens got a little, wonky for me. It lost a lot of focus, and I know that's kind of the thing, but there was zero focus a couple of times. So
let's talk about that quickly, because I actually did, for the most part, I loved the dream lens. I thought it was more often than not, it looked gorgeous. Sometimes it looked artificial, like it looked almost like, and it could have been like when they were on green screen elements that was, looking artificial to me. But there were some things that made it, because of this halo nature around them. It gave me this you remember how in the prequels and Star Wars prequels, they shot everything on green screen. So they had these like halos around everybody. Yeah. And so for some shots with the dream lens, it made me think that. But again, those were hit or miss for me. But for the most part, I'd say it was done pretty well, especially with the ones that were done in at least close quarters, where it didn't have a lot of artificial stuff going on that they had to I assume that they had to recreate a lot of this. If they have set extensions, his Dreamland stuff is not capturing stuff in the background. So they have to create that after the fact. So I assume maybe that plays into it. I don't know, but sorry, go ahead.
No, that was kind of my general, broad brush. I did enjoy the movie a lot. I mean, I really did. And on the second viewing, I enjoyed it a lot more than I did. But I guess because when you and I were watching it, I was analyzing everything while I was watching it, But
And you were probably just really nervous because it was like our first date, and
I know
you were just trying to like be on your best behavior.
it was, it was.
I had
It
just
was-
taken
Should
you
I
out
hold
to a
his
great
hands?
meal.
I mean, a
great little Mexican meal, and
great meal.
things were going pretty well.
Did you do the move? Did you get the move on him? Just the stretch.
I put the popcorn bucket in my lap. It didn't work. It's, what are you gonna do? Alan makes you work for it, but
No, actually, I got dressed and I was like, do I look okay? Why am I so nervous? But no, it was honestly that, I mean, it was really cool watching it in that, in your theater like that for sure. It was awesome.
John's on fire. I love it.
fair enough.
Keep it coming.
At this point, I'm just gonna roll with it. It's fun.
But yeah, that's where I'm at. Ryan, you're up.
Nice. So I will touch on the Dream Lens thing a little bit, just because it's something I was really looking forward to with this movie. And I'll
So
say
much so that
I'm
you
not,
bought
I
your
will
own Dream Lens.
Well, I didn't buy a Dream Lens. I bought a knockoff Dream Lens, but
That's what I said. That's why I did air quotes.
Gotcha. Same specs. It's definitely even like in the photography world, it's definitely a people either love it or they hate it kind of thing. Because it's technically you're not getting a crisp photo, a sharp photo. It's just not like what it's for. Like if you want to do that, you've got to get in the 1.4 range. So, but like you're saying, it gives things that Dream Lens, Dream Glow effect, which I just thought was kind of a cool. It's a cool movie or world to do that in, where you are, like you kind of mentioned, dealing with the zombie thing, alien thing, potentially time loop thing. It's very like ethereal type experience. Like when you watch this movie, it's visually it's very different from anything that I've seen, just because of the lens. And I love how it also gives it a very. I like how this movie is very concentrated in a very small. Like it's in Vegas. It's a very. It's not a very like sprawling movie, and this lens, because of the shallow depth of field, gives the movie a very like intimate. Everything in the movie feels really intimate, because that's just you've got to shoot everything that way. And like you mentioned, I did buy this lens. I do love this lens. I loved watching this lens. I loved seeing how he played with the focus in this movie. And there are moments where elements fall out of focus and then kind of like waggle their way back in, or that kind of thing. And I can see how that's something that you may not want to see in a movie, but I just enjoyed it. Movie as a whole, I will say and to be completely upfront, I'm not a zombie movie guy, never have been. This is the best zombie movie I've ever seen, which is not saying much, but I will say I'm more excited about what this movie sets up than I was going into seeing this movie. And I know Zach's made comments recently about how he's going to or kind of planning to like transcend the zombie genre. And, we've got all the Area 51 stuff, time loop stuff. It feels like a really cool sandbox where Zach can just kind of go crazy. So I'm really interested to see how he kind of molds the world moving forward. But in general, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like, that's kind of where I fall on it too. Like I'm excited to see, obviously excited to see the animated prequel, which directly ties to this. And it seems like the other prequel with Matthias or Dieter is not really going to be a zombie film. It's going to be more of a heist, safe cracking. I think it's like a German language film.
He was awesome, by the way. I loved his character.
Yeah,
him and Mano, they're dynamic.
Dude, I'm gonna say this. So, okay, let's get into this because I don't know what you just said. You did a little gargle. You fell into the matrix for a second.
No, I just said that. I just said that is deep, brother. Like when they were pounding it in the safe, they're having those conversations back and forth.
Yeah. So, okay, Ryan, you know that I have my hangups with Bautista.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Here's the thing.
Put it this way: Brandon's
Bautista,
favorite actor is not Dave Bautista.
It's not, but I don't have anything against him. I think he's always been of service to whatever is asked of him.
Sure.
And I honestly felt like his acting in this movie was really good. I just have a hard time buying his physical presence with the serious stuff that he's delivering. And that's the thing, like, and I don't think he's doing a bad job. He's such a huge presence. These serious moments are hard to buy from him only because of his presence. Like, and maybe that's unfair. I don't know, but like, I think
it's going to take a couple of movies for him to like kind of work his way out of, you know, what he has kind of been, the roles he's played like that. Just so you kind of normalize it a little bit.
Yeah, he just has, I mean, obviously, pro wrestler, he's got a huge presence, big body type, same, you know, you think of like him, The Rock, John Cena, they all come from the same ilk. So, you know, he's the first of them that's taking a more serious role like he has. I mean, he's done it before in Dune and other movies, but not Dune. Well, he is going to be in Dune, but I was Blade Runner 2049. And I commend him for that. It's good that he's taken that approach that none of the other people that are coming from a similar path are doing. I just feel like this character, honestly, I could have seen, is it Amari Hardwick that played Vanderhoen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could have seen him in this role and I would have bought him because he still is a physical, like he's still, you know, a pretty big guy, but not like huge, you know?
Sure.
So I could have, maybe that's just my own hangups, but I just feel like I liked his, I mean, maybe it's just his character. I liked his character.
Well, the way they introduce him is such a like he's a teddy bear ultimately with the like he's working with the elderly folks in the pool at the beginning.
Right. But no, I mean that as far as standout characters, I definitely thought that Vanderhoen and Dieter were the ones that, you know, I gravitated to the most in terms of standouts. I thought that Scott Bautista's character and Kate, I liked what they were doing. It was harder for me to invest. I couldn't get through the ceiling of buying what Bautista's selling. And that's just me. It's just my hang up. Yeah. I know that a lot of people, and again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but because if, you know, I don't want Bautista coming for me. He's a big guy. I don't want him to hurt me. I respect him as an actor. Okay. He's just big. Okay. I don't know. Just
you just need him to slim down. That's what you're telling me.
I think so. For these like serious emotional stuff, for whatever reason, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy that this huge imposing figure is going to like have these like huge, like, I don't know. It just seems comical to me. Like when he's like killing his wife, stabbing her in the head, and he's like crying over it. I'm like, nah, bro. Nah.
See, I don't know. That didn't bother me at all. The only times I struggled with his acting, I actually thought he did a great job with the emotional stuff. Like when he woke up with his nightmare, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
The only time that I struggled with it was kind of like the like chippy dialogue, like between him and like Tig Notaro.
Sure.
That kind of stuff. Oddly enough, the emotional side, I thought I was very surprised at what he pulled off on that end.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Alan, what do you think of Bautista? And again, I don't know how else to say it. I really did think he did a good job acting, but for
You don't
whatever
have
reason,
to say it, Brett. Look, we know. You just need him to slim down.
Well,
okay, yeah,
what's
I guess
hilarious,
that's
like he well, you Brandon, you and I talked when we were watching it, and I had seen him in Hotel Artemis, and I thought he was phenomenal in that. Like his role as the nurse in that movie, he is really really good, and that kind of prepped me for what he did in
I'd
Army.
forgotten about that movie. Yeah,
and but what's hilarious is I watched him on Jimmy Fallon, and I didn't realize that he was Filipino, and the only Filipino people that I've ever met are like 5'2". So I mean, when you see this guy, that makes it even crazier to believe that he is. Who he is, because I'm like, you're a liar. You're not Filipino.
He's definitely an anomaly for sure.
Just roasting Brandon Knight.
That's all right. Somebody's got to be Al, I guess. But that's the thing. I'm not like, okay, it's fine. I'm not gonna harp on it. It's all right. It is what it is. Let the record show. I like Bautista as a person. Okay, just so everybody knows.
As a person.
And again, I think he's fine. All right. So, other than that, all right, let's move on to that, because I do want to talk about. I want to talk. Okay, this movie. Just to be honest, I was a little like unsure of how I was gonna rate, so to speak, just like feel overall with this movie, until the moment that this movie clicked for me was when the coyote turns over. I don't know his name, Juice. I call him Juice because he's in Sons of Anarchy. I don't know what his character's name is in the actual movie.
Cummings, I think it's Cummings.
Cummings.
Yeah.
Whenever she shoots him in the leg and basically turns him over to Queen and the other alpha, that's when the movie kind of clicked for me. It's like, okay, this is like I'm in now.
I agree.
I'll be honest with you, like the first stretch of this movie, like besides like not necessarily the first stretch, but the opening sequence with the Area 51 guys bringing the payload.
Jimmy Olsen?
That heavy-handed dialogue between Jimmy Olsen and whoever the other guy was, was not great. Like it was, and I've went back and watched it. I've seen the movie 3 times now. Mm-hmm. That's definitely the weakest part of this movie, and that writing is just like so like
you gonna make me
heavy
say
exposition.
You're gonna make me say
You're gonna make me say it. There's a light coming. Look at the road, bro. There's a light coming right at you. Turn your head just a little bit. Like it's like not even. Like how do you not see that in your peripheral? It doesn't make any sense. And then like I also felt like I really wish that they had done something like I thought Richard Citrone was great as Zeus. Mm-hmm. I wish they had amped up his introduction. Like I don't know, it felt a little
more.
The way they shot it from far off, and he was like, taking out. I really wish. I mean, maybe it's just what they didn't want to do this, but I was like hoping for some sort of like when you think Fast Zombies, which is Zach's already done Fast Zombies. I was really hoping that they were going to do like some Man of Steel, like Fiora, like super fast, like crazy. Not maybe that quite fast, but like some like really like.
No, yeah, I feel you. Yeah,
I just felt like it was. It was kind of sped up, but it just wasn't as like kinetic as I would have wanted it. And then like, okay, the worst shot in this movie for me, which is a movie that I love, is it Jimmy Olsen or the other guy when he turns into a zombie and he gets up and he's like, whatever he does.
It was Jimmy. It was Jimmy. It was
Jimmy.
That part was like, not feeling that one. Not
so interesting. Like that one didn't necessarily bother me either. Just I don't know. Like one thing I noticed, I guess the second time through because I couldn't hear the first time through. Was how and this kind of can lead us into talking about the alien side of stuff or Android, whatever side you're on.
Right.
The voices of the zombies, there's so many like elements to like their calls and stuff. Like a lot, like some of it sounds very like monster like, then some of it sounds very like
it sounds like
computer, like keyboardy almost.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
It reminded
a
me of
lot.
like Velociraptors or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Nani had
Yeah,
it down
I
there
mean,
in the
that
comment.
in
Yeah,
there
it looked
too.
like it sounded
But
like Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah,
There's
I see that
also
now.
some there's also some like mechanical elements to it. So like metallic elements to some of the calls as
Needle
well.
teeth?
No, not needle teeth. I missed that though. They should bring him back in a movie. Just
Yeah.
it's an idea. But yeah, that was just something that I picked up on the second time through. So since I did bring that up though, I don't know like how much you guys picked up on with, the alien side, the blue eyes, blue baby, and then you've got there are a couple kills where it was like a headshot or something, and you'd kind of see like metallic splay on their face.
Right.
Like what are y'all's thoughts? Yeah, what are y'all's thoughts on kind of what do you think? What direction you think that Zach's gonna go?
Alan, you go ahead. I've talked enough.
I don't know. I had seen some fan theory where they were saying that maybe some of the metallic were like government drones that were sent in to spy on the horde. I saw that and I was like, that's actually a pretty decent head cam. I don't know if it, but I thought that was pretty decent. But
I don't know if it was Snyder that said that on some outlet. But yeah, I did hear that as well.
Or that it wasn't fan theory.
It was a theory.
He was kind of throwing. He was just throwing stuff out there, like, "Is it a government drone? Is it this? Is it this?" So yeah, it was Snyder himself that said that. So, but yeah, I don't know. It was the best part was
That's a good point, Nani. Yeah, I can see that.
When you got the slow-mo headshot and the blue goes everywhere. I mean, that was the best one out of all of them.
With Zeus
at
the end. Yeah. I honestly don't know what to make of the whole, as far as the metal endoskeleton ones. I think that, I don't know. Here's the thing. A lot of this stuff, like the alien element, the like android element, and the time travel element seems a little half-baked, and I'm hoping that it will be further explored and set up in the prequel stuff because it comes up. Honestly, that whole when Vanderhoon's talking about the timeline stuff with Dieter in the right before they get into the right before they get into the actual what are the safe? Gosh, I couldn't even think of the word safe. That it kind of comes out of left field. And as far as for me, I'm trying to make sense of it because I don't if it's like it'd have to be them being clones for their bodies to still be there. It couldn't be just them dying and coming back and doing it again. Their bodies wouldn't be there. It'd have to be a continual timeline.
Maybe.
Am I wrong?
But I mean, in as the world exists now, but who knows what kind of craziness they could be, he could be cooking up with that. I did want to say that the scene that you're talking about where they're down, you see the little key that the skeleton's wearing or whatever. That whole sequence felt very much, when I watched it, I was like, I know that people are going to think of this sequence like they think of the nightmare sequence and BBS. It's just, it's very easy to kind of look at that scene and just think it's a little bit just thrown in. There's not a lot of just like the nightmare sequence was in BBS for a lot of people. They just didn't understand why it was there. I can see how that sequence could be viewed the same way because it was just kind of it was just a little thing that was inserted in there and then it wasn't addressed in any other way throughout the movie. And that's not to say it's a bad idea. I'm just saying that was something that crossed my mind.
Yeah, I kind of wish that, because I like the idea. I wish they had threaded it a little more. Like I said, maybe it's going to be something that's intended to be explored in the prequel stuff. Probably more so. I assume maybe more so. I don't know. I don't know what the the live action one with Dieter is going to be, but maybe they're going to explore that more. But it does, at face value, within this movie alone, it seems a little like, huh? Like it just seems like it comes out of nowhere. Because they don't thread it much at all, unless I'm missing something that came before it. Because it just
I was trying to watch for things my second time through, and I did not pick up on anything else.
Okay, so actually, I'll take that back. The one thing that I saw upon a rewatch is you do see when Dieter is training with a gun, his first two shots are like bullseye on the bottles, like he's, and so I'm like, okay, well maybe that is them saying that. He's like, this is like this like live, die, repeat type thing with like Edge of Tomorrow, where we've done it so many times now he's becoming better because this isn't his first rodeo.
My interpretation of that was just he's so good with like mechanics, like being being the safe cracker and whatnot. He just
maybe, but Vanderhoen does have that like not bad for your first time line of dialogue. Like they call attention to it, and so I'm like, okay, is there a reason why he says, as far, because dude, headshots, and that's the thing, it could be a trope. Like headshots in zombie movies are a trope. Like you just and if Chris was here, he could attest to it. Like this is not something that's easily done.
Sure,
he's had his share of headshots. Just say that. And then obviously you've got the key on the body. You've got the like bandana that Scott wears on one of the other characters. You've got Tig's like tropical shirt. But yeah, I'm just confused on the timeline as far as what it even means, because again, I don't know I don't know how the mechanics could work with their bodies still being there, unless there's some sort of.
It's just so like it's so like I don't even think you're really supposed to at this point, like because there's so many different ways that when you're dealing with time and you're dealing with zombies and aliens, like the world that this exists in, like in a mind like Zack Snyder, there's so many ways that he could twist and warp stories moving forward to have that whole thing make sense.
Yeah.
I also kind of like go ahead.
I was just gonna say another thing that I noticed was, unless I missed something, it seemed like Vanderhoen knew about the hierarchy of like Zeus, alphas, shamblers, whatever. Like before Coyote is like laying that out for them, like because a lot of people think that Vanderhoen's scene at the end could be him in a different timeline.
I think because doesn't Scott like kind of break it down when they're meeting with Tanaka?
As far
like
as
at the first initial meeting, like explaining like what the types of zombies and whatnot. Like whether he says something like if you call them zombies, shamblers, whatever. Like I think he kind of breaks it down as well for the group.
Yeah.
I have to go back and listen to it, but I'm pretty sure that the Coyote character is the one that introduces like, okay, there's Zeus or whatever, and then there's like he bites people, and then she doesn't say it like this, but it's like people that he bites become alphas. The people that alphas bite become shamblers. But I mean, maybe he does say that.
I mean, he doesn't go into like that detail. I'm just saying, like, it seems like he potentially has knowledge of the different types of zombies. I don't know if he has any knowledge of, like if alphas only are bitten by the original kind of deal. But
like you said, he said, all I remember is he says something like, whatever you want to call them, zombies, shamblers, blah, blah, blah. He gives, I mean, he doesn't really, it's really just, he's just calling them, he's just giving you a different name for a zombie. He's not giving you any real, any hierarchy or anything.
It is interesting that in this, because that's like the thing. A lot of movies or TV shows are like, all right, what are they going to call the zombies? Because most of them don't ever use the word zombie in the movie, and they actually do in this one. They have like walkers or whatever they end up calling them. But yeah,
yeah.
right.
What'd you guys think of What'd you guys think of Tig's insertion into this movie? Did it distract you all? Like knowing that she
If
was
I didn't-
added to it.
Yeah, if I will say that even knowing that she was a late addition and replacing somebody, I thought it was pretty well done. One or two scenes, maybe.
There were a couple like dialogue pieces that I feel like she shouldn't have said. Like they just seemed like they're kind of like thrown in like little one-liners. We're just kind of like, let's kick it out to Tig.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I thought overall, though, as far as execution, especially, I can't imagine how hard it was to do this, especially given the camera work that they were doing with this dream lens. I can't imagine how difficult that made it. Extra difficult it would have been. But I thought it was.
They showed her into the background, where she's like hanging out between all these folks. That's pretty masterclass.
And like you were saying, well, I guess it could go both ways, because I could see using the dream lens as an easier way to cut her in. You just get a bigger bald guy that you blur out in the corner, and there you got her talking to Scott, or you know what I mean? You just throw somebody in there and blur them out, and you could have whoever
put them in the foreground.
I honestly, I thought she was awesome. I thought her character, I thought that those lines could have worked for either one of those actors. I feel like she pulled them off just as good as Chris. Isn't it Chris? What is his name? Chris?
D'Elia.
Yeah, I feel like she pulled it off just as well as he would have. So I really enjoyed her in it. So
I think I enjoyed her more than I would have enjoyed based on what I've seen of his. I think I enjoyed her delivery more than I would have enjoyed his, honestly. But
I think that knowing, I don't know what kind of character they were intending to do when D'Elia was in the role, but when I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, if D'Elia's delivering, because I'm familiar with his comedy, if he was in this role, like I would have, just because I know how like snarky he is personality wise, and that's kind of the characters he tends to play. Him coming back at the end to save them, like I'm like, I buy Tig doing this. I don't buy D'Elia doing this. Even though they would have been playing a character, I just think that just that moment itself, the endearment of that moment works better having someone like Tig in it. But no, I thought as far as the technical, and I don't think anybody that I don't think you could. Anyone that didn't know the history of this would be able to point it out. I think it's pretty seamless.
Great.
It's not like
it was definitely something that I was like
situation.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was one of those things where like I very much was looking just because I was interested in seeing how he was able to do it. It was something that I was every time it happened.
There's one shot when they first get into Vegas, it's like a wide shot, and they're all like walking up. There's one shot when she's walking up that looks a little wonky, like maybe like the angle that she was shot in doesn't necessarily match the angle that everybody else is shot to me. It's not super obvious, but it's the one that stands out the most to me. Execution wise, but no, when they have her like walking side by side with Bautista, like it all looked pretty well done.
They said it was pretty expensive to do that as well. That's what Zach said. It was well worth it, but it was pretty expensive.
I'm sure. Did you guys catch the spaceship's lights in the sky in the beginning?
The second viewing I did.
That like at the 45-second mark before the the whole like caravan of Area 51 whatever, the trucks, when they're leaving the base, there's two lights in the sky, and as soon as they like pass, the lights shoot off, and those are supposedly some sort of UFO type thing. Because I'd heard people mention that, and like out of the 3 times I watched it, I just wasn't paying attention and didn't notice it, and so I was like, I Googled, it's like, all right, where is it? And they were like 45 seconds in, look for it. And so I did. And it's like, it's there. It's pretty cool. But we talked about the alien stuff. They also have that mention of like, when it rains, they come back to life for a few. There's like a lot of like little like tidbits of lore that's dropped in that, could come back, that could be interesting.
I'm more. It's so interesting because I don't know what it is about, like specifically what it is about the zombie genre that just like I'm just. It's not even like I'm not drawn to it. I'm like repelled by it.
Mhm.
I don't know, and he does a great job with them here, making them a little bit more complex. And I love that this tees up the fact that like these could be like aliens, like in further installments. But I just wonder. There's got to be other people out there like me who feel the same way about zombie movies. And I just
Yeah.
want. I wonder that I don't know if it's like a genre exhaustion kind of thing or what, but I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like they're it feels a lot like you're watching like the same like it they're like creatures that bite other humans and they turn into zombies. Like it just seems very like formulaic, I guess.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think that's kind of why there's a lot of this other stuff injected into it because that genre is pretty tired at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's pretty smart on him to kind of acknowledge that and be like, all right, we're going to kind of turn this on its head a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it would be so cool to see something like this lead to like almost like an alien type movie, like outer space type movie, like very like Ridley Scottish with this in this world. It could be so cool to see like them work their way to that kind of a transition. And the seeds are sown there for them to do that. That's what's cool about it.
Well, I mean, I don't see every zombie movie, but I haven't seen one that has like sentient zombies, ones that have like a hierarchy, and then even like relationships and offspring. I think that this movie does a lot of interesting things, especially with like the Zeus and Queen characters, as far as making you feel some sort of compassion or sympathy for this specific, group of whatever individual. I don't know what you call them, but I thought that as far as like Citron's, like I thought that his like emotional moments were pretty great.
I agree.
And if you go back and watch it, like it's fun. Like at first, like I know Alan, you had that like holy crap, like whenever they pulled the child out of the belly. But if you go back and watch it, like every time he's around Queen, he's like listening to. He's like puts his head to her stomach and listens for it, and you don't get that in the initial viewings.
Well,
when you go back, it's like, okay, that's what.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I wasn't expecting to have a pregnant zombie. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't something I was looking for. So it caught me. But I had a theory, and I haven't seen anything about this, but I had a theory that baby was not going to be a zombie, that baby was going to be whatever species had infected Zeus, that we were basically the zombies. I say we, the alphas were going to be like incubation pods, and that was going to be the aliens stuff. There.
I'm all about it.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if it is, let's mark the tape. We're at the 53-minute mark.
Right.
I mean,
it could be.
Could just be. It could be Thrawn.
I don't know. I can't answer that one. I don't know anything about Thrawn. That's
He's
all you.
Blue.
Somebody brought this up.
Kill me.
That. Okay. Sorry. He's blue. Okay. Cool. Where's Jeff? Bring Jeff in.
You've never even seen a picture of like any illustration of Thrawn at all.
When you said he's blue, that reminded me that he's blue, but I wouldn't have remembered that he was blue. Just based on you saying that.
Nani's got a good point here. Warm
she's
bodies.
Right. Warm bodies.
I do think about Zombieland too, like as far as like the fast moving stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so We already talked about Dreamsland and stuff. I got a few notes. I'm just going through to see some stuff that we could hit on. But as far as like, so did y'all have any like standout like sequences, moments? For me, it was like I know Ryan, your first comment to me after seeing it was people are crazy comparing the opening sequence or the actual credit sequence to Watchmen. I will agree it's not anywhere on that level, but I still thought it was pretty great as far as
storylines.
establishing.
It was amazing what he was able to tell with like that soccer mom, that kind of deal.
Right.
I just meant like I guess visually is kind of what I figured those comparisons were more like based on like the visual side.
I just thought it was like, I mean, I don't think it's as good as Watchmen, but I thought that like you were saying, as far as them telling, kind of setting the stakes and just the premise was great, setting up all the characters and how, they got to where they are now, or characters that we wouldn't end up being able to get to see in this movie, like the soccer mom. Even like the fall of Vegas, like I've been to Vegas a few times, so seeing like how they handled, I thought that like that whole like handling of seeing these like iconic, like the MGM and like the Luxor and the Mandalay Bay and all those like famous locations, New York, seeing all of that. Because I was wondering, I didn't know if they were going to be able to use like license wise, because they had made up this fake hotel, the Bly Hotel or whatever, for the heist. And I didn't know if it was going to be a thing where they didn't have any like actual like Vegas hotels or like, iconic places. So that was cool seeing that. And I thought, and I watched, did y'all watch the behind the scenes on Netflix that they put out?
Not yet. They showed, no, I need to. Yeah. They had this
like drone that they flew over Vegas to like do all these like crazy, like 360, like infrared, like image capture stuff. And so that's how they got like their initial like base to recreate this in a digital realm, because they shot this movie in, where is it?
Mexico. Albuquerque.
Well, that part, but they shot the
stuff was Atlantic City.
Yeah, Atlantic City.
So,
but yeah, so it was really cool to see how they integrated that. And that documentary is actually pretty good. They've kind of pulled a few of the things out on the YouTube page from it, but overall, it's definitely worth a listen, because they go into this opening sequence stuff, and they go into Dreamland stuff and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I thought that so as far as highlights are like that 50 caliber moment when was it Anna is like mowing down zombies and they're just like
bodies
just like exploding everywhere. That was amazing. The like paratrooper with like him like just like trying to like take out as many as he's like, he's going down to this like lose situation, and then like they do that like just blood splatter all up under that was a really cool,
that was really
cool moment. But but as far, did you guys have any like moments that stood out besides that? I mean, maybe you didn't find that good. That's just me.
I don't know. Oddly enough, in this movie, I enjoyed kind of the it's so weird for a movie that's a zombie movie, but I enjoyed the kind of like more like natural cinematography of this movie, like where he's cracking open a beer next to that camper or whatever, like that kind of stuff. A lot of the sunset stuff. That was like that's the stuff that sticks in my mind from this movie, which is, like I said, it's a weird thing to stick out. But I would probably go with more of that kind of stuff versus the like action sequences, at least visually.
Gotcha. What about you, Alan?
Yeah, I did that opening segment, the good little tie-in there where you find out, you kind of see the fall of Vegas and then the airstrike. When the army guy, he's on top of the tank and he lights the smoke flare, and he's holding it up for the strike to come in, and that whole scene was really really awesome. As far as it just looked you could tell there was a lot spent on
The
that
fact-
right there. But
The fact that they let the little girl die at the end of the
yeah,
the end of that sequence did a lot for like kind of setting up like
setting
I
the
don't know.
stakes.
mistakes,
Yeah.
exact thing. Yeah, we were Mandy and I were watching that, and when that scene happened, Mandy was like, "Well, I don't want to watch this anymore." You know, like she was done with it at that point. But
Yeah.
but that whole setup there was awesome. And then I really enjoyed the Ocean's 11, you know, laying out the heist, you know, setting up their plan, and then everybody's standing in the circle, guns blazing, and then Dieter's standing there with his baseball bat. Whoa, 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 whoa!
I love that. Yeah.
How exactly do we do the zombie killing? Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
There are so many moments like that in his DC films that people like. They look at moments like that and they kind of they're like, how does this make sense? And I'm like, it's just kind of like an artistic choice kind of deal.
Yeah.
And there's so many
It's
of
also-
those moments in here that I love, and I love when he does it in his DC movies also.
Yeah.
It's
also funny in that sequence. The guy that bails before they even start the mission is in that sequence, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Smartest guy in the whole freaking movie. You know, he's like, "Whoa, zombies! All right, I'm out."
Zombies?
You know, that was it. And that was Dieter. You know, what about if I take a rock? You know,
I thought
smash
I
him
will
over the head.
say, yeah, I will say Garrett Dillahunt was a great add to this movie.
Yeah.
I like everything.
I got you twice. Dude.
He's just great.
Okay,
like whenever
that's gonna
he's
get
in
me to
something,
one of my
the
favorite
role
parts
is
of this movie. Yeah, I love Garrett Dillahunt too. Valentine taking out Dillahunt
Oh gosh,
was
It's
like
his
Revenant
neck, like blood
2.0.
hurts, like
God.
Yeah. when he bites his face off, I audibly was just like, I mean, I can't say it here on the show, but Alan can probably attest. Like, I was like, oh God. But with experts. But yeah, I mean, that part was freaking brutal.
I from the moment when he made a comment about the tiger at the beginning, I was like, well, his death's going to be brutal.
Yeah. I was like, well, part of me was like, I kind of wish Zeus was taking him out, but this is pretty good too. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I remember back to the whole. I remember Alan. I meant to say this earlier when they were doing the opening sequence. I remember turning to you and being like, "All right, so all things considered, this is a zombie movie. You got to have a little bit of like disbelief going into this. It's like them being able to contain this outbreak with these little shipping containers.
Yeah.
All right, if that's what we're doing." I'll be on board. I'll buy it. I mean,
right.
It is what it is.
I just think about like World War Z or whatever, where they're just like crawling on top of each other until they
exactly. Yeah.
And
I mean, they're only like 3 high, or 4 high, maybe. That's what I was thinking. I was like, there's so many of them. How did they not get over it?
Well, and if that goes back, it goes back to the opening sequence. The fall of Vegas. When they bombed it, I mean, that did away with probably 90% of them, from the get-go, because even through the whole movie, you don't see these huge hordes. You see, maybe 75 in the whole movie. You know what I mean? It's just,
I don't know, man, because after that last little scene, when the camera like shifts over the top of the Vegas sign and into, there's like a ton of zombies there. Yeah. They're still left. There's a sea of them.
Well, and I know it had been years. So.
I did appreciate the Lily's comment that like you guys basically says like you guys think you're like containing them or whatever, but like this is their kingdom. Like they're not like trying to get out necessarily. And I hope that it's paid off well in the sense that like maybe Zeus is trying to keep them all there until he had his kid or something, something of that sort. Basically like a giant nest, like nest of a city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a good point. But yeah, I mean, there's a little bit, I mean, with
I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah. I mean, you just, I'm like, all right.
You think one
these
or
are the
two would
rules.
sneak out at least?
You think so, especially when they're going through the shipping container and it's just like this one little bar they got to lift up to go into the,
Right.
It's like, okay.
I mean, if we're suspending disbelief here for the sake of the movie, David Bautista working in a burger joint is by far the most unbelievable part of the whole movie. I mean, that guy could have had any job he wanted, and he's flipping burgers. He could have been Secret Service. He could have did anything. He could have been a wrestler. He could have done anything.
Listen, don't limit him, okay? He wants to be a cook. He talks about it the whole movie. He's trying to figure out his niche, what he's going to do.
My little.
I did appreciate that moment at the end of the movie, the lobster roll comment, where he was like trying to basically have his daughter not worry about the fact that he was dying. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
No, that was that was a great moment. Her taking him out, which I assumed was going to happen. I just, I thought that was well done.
And I like the lobster roll thing, but I really feel like they missed out on an opportunity. I took a note of this. They're going over food trucks, and they had artisan grilled cheese at one point. Dude, a tater tot truck and have it called Scott's Tots. There's your that would have killed.
Yes.
That would have killed.
That's true.
It's going to make any fan of The Office.
Scott's Tots, everybody would have died.
Well, any fan of The Office they're not showing up to that food truck because everybody that watches The Office skips that episode because it's the most awkward episode in the entire series.
There's a lot of cringe in it. But no, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, Scott's Tots. That would have been such an awesome food truck.
True. I don't know how far. I mean, if you can stretch artisan grilled cheese, I guess you could stretch some sort of tater tot truck.
Yeah.
One thing I did make note of, which I thought was really cool in the opening, was those little clay Unos shots that they had of them standing in front of the canvas holding the picture frames. Like a fourth wall type thing.
Yeah.
That was a cool little thing to just kind of juxtapose amongst what was going on. And it felt so clay Unos. Yeah, for sure.
That's another one of those things where it's not necessarily I'm sure there are people that watch this movie and they're like, why are they taking studio photos and what's happening? You just gotta kind of treat this is a little bit more artistic than but anyway.
It's definitely just a little bit of flair that he's doing. Here's something that well, hey there. He spelled Zach. I think he did it intentionally.
You think?
But at this point, gotta take those.
Missed that, Al.
I get it. Oh man, what a guy. What do you think about? So I think Paul Shirey brought this up on Beard and the Bald, but I was like, that's a good point, Paul. Why wouldn't Tanaka have the code to his safe? And obviously, the answer is he doesn't. I mean, if the answer is he doesn't care about the money, I just kind of wish that they had brought that up because it is a good point. It's like, it is a good point. Why do these people that are going on this mission for this guy at his own hotel, why does he not have access to his own safe? But that kind of was like. Yeah, it's a pretty good point. I can't defend that one.
Well, I mean, especially, it's definitely a belief thing, especially since Dylan's character was giving him key cards and stuff to get through all the other different things. I don't know. I can see how that could be a little bit of a hole.
Yeah, and I guess my theory is he needed them to be distracted so that he could get away with the head,
Yeah.
If they're trying to get the money, he can get away scot-free, with the exception of, the big zombie tiger that bites his face off.
Yeah. I thought that was a really cool sequence. That whole beheading sequence with how they kind of mix a little bit of practical robot, like an animatronic. And if you watch the behind the scenes, they use her with a green man suit or whatever. I just think Charlie from Always Sunny. Green Man. But I thought that was pretty pretty well done, especially when the coyote brings her back at the end before she maybe dies. We don't know. That's one question I wanted to ask you guys. Like, who do you think? So as far as like, we have hard deaths in the movie, but the ones that we never like fully see on screen die are like Coyote, Vanderhome, Dieter, maybe Kate obviously doesn't die, but somebody's picking her up. It may not be help. Could be some, could not be a good scenario that she's going into.
Take it with a grain of salt. My interpretation of Lily's character would be that she would probably turn into the next mother. Kind of deal like that. That would be where he starts from square one again, kind of.
Well, it's really interesting that you've got alphas, the name alpha for the like higher end of the zombie spectrum as far as rank is concerned. Maybe
it's true.
You never know.
It's true.
I'll have to watch it. I'm not making any promises though.
We've learned that much.
But what's also funny is if you have Vanderhoen at the end showing that he's been bit, and if he's not going to off himself and he's going to actually become a zombie, so to speak, and he's got that Omega branding on his chest, you've got Alpha and Omega beginning and end. Like, it's an interesting little parallel there.
Yeah,
that's true.
To set him up,
that reeks of Zack Snyder right there. Yeah,
right.
I can totally see that. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff like that. Like the two towers at the Bly Hotel is Sodom and Gomorrah. There's Sodom Tower and Gomorrah Tower.
Gomorrah is where the copter was on the top of Gomorrah, wasn't it? Yeah,
right.
That's what it was.
You got. I mean, that's what's fun about these movies is like picking up all these little like Easter eggs. Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. It's so great. It's really taken off with other people. It's like the first time we've had a joke that it's like taken off with other people,
Yeah, that's good.
Moving on up in the world.
In jokes. We're gonna have the next step is just t-shirts. Make t-shirts.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Also the Larry Fong magician poster was funny.
That was really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. That kind of stuff is always fun to go back and see because Snyder's such like he loves doing that kind of stuff. He's on that J.J. Abrams train of like just including all these little Easter eggs and these little mystery boxes. But yeah,
that's funny. I was going to say the J.J. Abrams thing that actually when Alpha's first introduced, when Zeus is first introduced, not Alpha, it reminded me of Super 8, the way that the crash happens and the door busts open, and then you don't really see what it is until later on, but that's just what it reminded me of, that when you said JJ.
That's true.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
agreed.
That's good. That's a good pull. What did you guys think about the score and or the soundtrack?
I loved how, first off, I don't know if people are loving or hating it. I love the Cranberries song at the end. I thought it was an awesome way, on the nose way to use them.
The only complaint that I have, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you just briefly here, Ryan.
I'll be back in 5.
I do love that cover as well. I love that scene. I just wish Zach didn't have this hang up about end credit scenes, that he has to put these things at the end. Like, it had a really good ending with Kate. I really wish we had some credit time and then had this Vanderhoen scene, because I feel like tonally it's got a good, like, this is the end of the movie with Kate. And then this Vanderhoen, similarly, the way we talked about the epilogue with JL, it's like, I really would have loved for that stuff to be in credits, but I know that he doesn't want to fall into that in credits trap that a lot of people do. But I just feel like it works personally. I feel like it would have worked better because the way it ends with Vanderhoen on the plane, like it's a perfect in credit thing.
I gotta call you out on it. It's Vanderho, not
Vanderho. I thought there's an end.
No.
You sure?
It's actually it's actually HOE at the end, like ho. Oh yeah, it's ho at the end.
OHE, yeah.
Vander.
Okay.
Vandero.
Well,
I'm just
thanks for
trying to
letting me
help
know.
you from
I'm gonna-
the comments and all that.
it's all right. It's all right. I thought it was an N.
Mr.
It's all
Vander.
good. It's all
Sorry.
good. It's all good. Zach will forgive you. I know it. I just know it.
Okay. Well, I like his character, so hopefully he will. But yeah, I just feel like that would have worked better as a stinger, personally. But I did like the song, and I liked. Yeah, my notes are all messed up with spellings. It's all right though. You have to get used to that. But yeah, I thought that's the thing. They just released that awesome, or they just released pre-orders for that awesome vinyl for the score.
Cover looks awesome.
I really wish they would do that for the covers because there's some really great covers. The CCR cover, obviously the Elvis cover at the beginning, which they actually have that on the soundtrack coming out. But and then the Doors cover. There's a lot of good covers in there.
All the music was probably with the exception of the zombie song. They were all pretty like you wouldn't expect the music to be used in the situations, specific music to be used in the situations that that they were used in. Again, another very like stylistic choice. And it was all super tasteful. It was cool.
Yeah. Alan, what about you? Do you have any, like, the score for me was like, it was fine. Like, it wasn't Junkie's best. It wasn't like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't, which I guess is probably a good thing. It wasn't like overly noticeable. If that makes any sense. Like, it didn't stand out one way or the other.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there was a lot of like when the different songs from the soundtrack would kick in, there was a lot of like side grand moments for me where I was like, yes, I could, that way to go, Zach. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then he still found a way to throw Allison Crowe in there, and with the Viva Las Vegas, like all of that was, I personally loved the song choice all the way through. And I get some people's gripe with Zombie, with it being a political song, but it's so on the nose in that moment, like it just.
Oh, that's perfect. I loved it.
When we were watching it, Brandon, I was like, Zombie, yes. As soon as it started playing,
What's funny is I had never heard the acoustic version of Zombie. I didn't even know that there was one out there with the actual Cranberries. I mean, I figured there would have been a cover, but that was actual Cranberry, which is cool. It's a good cover. Yeah. It's on the playlist now.
Like 3 notes, and I knew exactly what song that was. I was like,
yeah.
And maybe I wouldn't had it
doesn't take much,
movie, you know what I mean? But I caught it right off the rip, so it was pretty
sure.
Yeah.
I also dug the a visual that kind of sticks out to me. Is when Vandero like comes out of the safe, and it's like the aftermath of the bomb with all the like floating ash and stuff. I thought that was cool. And like the thunderstorm in the background as he's walking out.
Yeah.
That one was the one that looked the most like CG. Obviously, it was.
Oh, I agree. It definitely looked the most CG. I just like the environment.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that it was shot after everything was done. And I think it was Zach and Amari and like 4 production workers that shot that scene. Like the movie was done, they just threw that in at the end. Like they just decided nobody knew that was even happening. And I think it may have been cut in just for his sequel, but for Vanderhoof.
Gotcha.
But nobody knew that was even happening.
It'd be interesting to see if he goes with the
Vanderhoof.
It'll be interesting to see with his sequels if he goes with the like there's a time jump, or if it's he shows something that this movie ended with, like he's done with the DC stuff as he's been.
As far as time jumps, I just hope they really doubled down on the whole time stuff that they introduced, because I feel like you can't introduce that and not kind of deliver on it.
And I've seen a lot of people, talk about how if Hardwick, if he'd been bitten, why hadn't he turned already? And he can't be the next Zeus because he's been bitten by Zeus, so he would just be an alpha. But this is maybe headcanon for me, but with the radiation level when he comes out of that vault, maybe that kind of slows down the process, maybe or beefs up the process. I don't know.
I've got to mention, you asked me earlier about like favorite parts that stand out in this movie. Cinematography stuff for sure, but the moment that stands out the most is when
Chambers.
What's his name? Is it Matthias or is it Matthias? I can't remember.
Matthias plays Dieter. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When he pushes Vandero into the safe, I thought that was so freaking cool after all of their back and forth. Throughout the movie.
Yeah, I mean, the relationship, they're super Vandero is very standoffish to Dieter. And then they kind of have their little bro moments towards the end.
I love when Scott comes down and and he's like, "Oh, you guys got the safe open?" And Vandero's like, "What are you doing, man? The guy's working."
Yeah. Because Mr. Sausage Fingers.
Mr. Sausage Fingers.
Yeah. I did. I was going to say that I was the same way. Like that the evolution of their friendship from when they're planning things out and Vandero's over there like, are you serious? I've got this guy's going to be with us,
Right.
And then at the end, he's the one who ends up saving him, or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess not.
It's either going to be death or rebirth.
That's funny because whenever that moment happened, I turned to Al and I was like, "So you're gonna die here in the safe?" So then I guess he was able to get out of it.
You're gonna eat money to stay alive.
Yeah. You have a slow death instead of being ripped apart by zombies. I guess it's
Well, I guess part of me honestly thought, what if
he also knows
Dieter knew that there was
coming too.
Well, and Dieter,
right?
I'm assuming he knows everything about this safe, so he knows there's a way to get out if you've been locked in. So Dieter knows that he could get out of that thing. I'm assuming, if he knows everything about this safe anyway.
You can add impressions to your
just
resume,
like
Alan.
Nailed it.
Be our resident Dieter impersonator.
I've been at my office. Everybody's probably getting super pissed about this movie
Dieter
because every time somebody starts talking, I'll say, "How exactly do we do the zombie killing?" And and it has nothing to do with anything that's happening.
Right. Yeah, he's great. I am looking forward to his. And he directed the prequel, which is going to be interesting. And it's also going to be interesting that it's completely in German. So.
That'll be
easy. In German. I guess I should get going on that Bible app. I got to get this thing figured out.
One other sequence that I thought was really, really cool was the hibernating sequence.
Oh yeah.
With is it Chambers? What's the the stunt actress?
Actually, just started.
Can't think of her name right now.
She's in Justice League.
Yeah, she's in everything that Zack's made, pretty much.
Yeah.
Samantha Wynn.
Samantha Wynn.
Yeah, Samantha Wynn.
Yeah.
I thought that sequence was awesome, especially when she just goes like ballistic. And that's another thing. I was like, she's doing a pretty good job at taking these guys out pretty silently with her knife. Why didn't they just do that to all of them?
Yeah, Dillahunt was so great in that. Gotcha, bitch.
God, I was so pissed, man. I was like, that dick.
She just like goes and just like starts taking them out, and then she gets like thrown out. She busts out through the window, and her partner Guzman or whatever. I'm like, dude, just
Guzman,
like there's like three of them. Like
Guzman.
What did I say?
You said Guzman.
I said Guzman, did I not?
No.
Goose.
Is it not?
Oh, Goose.
It's Guzman. You said Guzman.
Okay, well,
that's raw.
So just
that's
the
southern thing. That's goes.
I want to rewind the tape and listen.
Do it.
But maybe I did say Guzman.
But no,
Guzman.
I'm like you, Brandon. I'm like, oh my God, there's like 4 shamblers around
He
her.
can
Shoot
so
them.
easily-
He's like shooting sidearm too, you know. And I'm like, come on, man.
Set him up that he can take out like 3 of them in one shot with the YouTube video. It's like, why didn't you help her, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
one
I
thing
love
you
the-
shot one of them and then you shot the gas tank and killed her. What a douche.
The guy's like, she's dead. Leave her. And I'm like, no, she's not. There's like 2 of them right there. What are you doing?
Exactly.
But no, I was like, oh my God, she's such a badass. I was like, if
she crushed.
if I'm in an apocalyptic scenario, she's my partner. You know, she's the one I want with me because she was killing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that sequence was great. As far as action sequences, that one and then
I love
the
too how
actual
she had not
like
killed a zombie either.
Oh yeah,
I love
that's
how
true.
she had not
Also,
killed
it was
a zombie too.
whenever they first get into Vegas and they're like doing the self and the zombies behind them, like they're like it just showing like their dynamic as far as them being like the I guess you would say like the millennial YouTuber like us, I guess.
Yeah.
TikToker.
Yeah.
Us with weapons.
But yeah, that sequence and then like the like little like battle sequence escape through the actual like casino floor was really, and that's honestly, you don't like, as far as like those like token Snyder moments, that's like one of the only like slow-mo besides the other like sequence you guys were talking about earlier. There's not a lot of slow motion that you would expect from Snyder, like that speed ramping type stuff that he does so much. It's really that sequence and then the other one, and that's about it.
Near the end where Goose is falling, you know, and the bag rips open. Guz. It's like, but Mandy actually was like, "Oh my God, there goes the money," and I said, "No, Zach's got it's got to be slow motion." So like when it rips, it just everything slows down, and I was like, "Oh, that's a Zach shot right there."
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That's true.
The old Guz cost everybody all the money.
Yeah, as far as like sequel setup, I do hope that, because as far as standouts for me, obviously we talked about Dieter, we talked about Vanderhoof, and then the Coyote. Like those 3 seem to be prime for moving forward, and those are the 3 that I would actually like to explore more as well, and to see how they integrate, if they're going to do some sort of, you know, alpha, if they're going to be alphas or however they integrate them, because like we said, they don't die on screen, and they don't even get bit on screen. Well, I guess it's revealed that Vanderhoof's bit, but
he did not.
He
did not get bit. Like I have both viewings. I was like,
I rewound it. I was looking
for it today.
You know,
it was he had the Zeus pulled his arm across and went for the bite on the arm that he actually got bit. And the way they showed the bite, it was like he got scraped, but it didn't look like he got bit when you watch the clip. So I don't know.
Well, at the end, though, when he's in the airplane, it is teeth marks on his arm. So,
no, he got bit. I'm just saying, like that was
when it happened. Yeah.
What they were trying to set up, it was the same arm that Zeus tried to bite in the same spot.
Yeah.
And before that, there wasn't teeth marks. So they're implying that's at the moment.
Well, that's what I'm curious about, and that's why I'm like trying to see if there is any merit with this being an alternate timeline that he's bit. Because in the one that's presented, it doesn't seem like he was bit. As far as in the safe.
And I mean, I look at it, you know, you look at it from your own eyes, and like if I've got like one of Mandy's hairs hanging out of the back of my hat and tickling my neck, I know that it's back there. So how the hell do you not know you got bit? You know, you look in the mirror and you see a bite mark on you, and you're like, oh my God. And I'm like, dude,
the only thing would be just like crazy adrenaline. Like there's a lot of adrenaline going on, but
like you said,
I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
You got to suspend disbelief.
In all honesty, though, like moving forward, like the prequel stuff, like I can see this cast being involved, but in all honesty, I'm really not expecting any of the cast to be involved with the stuff moving forward.
Well, I know Joe Maglio,
unless
he's involved in one of the anime prequels.
The prequel, unless the time stuff they really hammer that home. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I definitely think that we'll see Vanderhoof and Coyote back,
Mhm.
possibly Dieter, because he gets pulled off screen. It just depends on. I mean, it just depends on the timeline stuff, how much they go into that stuff. Like if
I
we're
just
talking
feel like
about
the
like
only
a continuous
reason
timeline, I don't know.
I just feel like the only reason Vanderhoof survived was because he was in the safe. Like I don't think that
Right.
Dieter would survive.
Well, somebody in an interview, they asked Zach, well, what happened? Did Dieter die? And he was like, well, you didn't see it. He kind of just open ended.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the rule, though. When it comes to this like genre fare, if you don't see someone die, then they probably didn't die.
Yeah.
And even when you see them die, still, with this kind of stuff, when you've got Area 51 stuff, you've got timeline stuff being introduced, it's like anything can happen.
That's why it's so hard to project what he's going to do next, because this is just you got three kind of like crazy worlds or concepts that you're playing with here, and you can weave it however you want to weave it.
Yeah. Well, this is also kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking that Zeus took Coyote and Dieter to where they were holding the other girls, but if the nuke came, they wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, that's
right.
So unless he put them somewhere else that was, could have been protected by the nuke, then
another safe.
Maybe he had a passcode to a different safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's only the whole town. So there you go.
Yeah,
it's true. Very true.
Right.
One thing that I thought was pretty hilarious and morose that Snyder said. I can't remember where he said this.
Big word for you, Brandon. Morose.
Check out the big brain on Brad. Well, don't give me too much credit. My usage of it may be wrong whenever you hear what I'm about to say. So we'll see.
Let me Google what morose means before you.
Let's put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
So the scene where Maria, she has that moment with Scott, and then the elevator opens and she gets her neck snapped.
Oh yeah.
Snyder said that originally he wanted her to reach out for Scott, but in the opposite, because her head snapped around and she has this brief moment where she tries to reach for Scott, but she actually would be reaching for the zombie in front of her to grab, and how morbid that would have been. And then so they didn't do it. But I thought that would have been. I love the idea of that actually happening, and I just thought it was kind of very dark and hilarious.
No, and along that same vein, when it happened, and her spine thing pops out the side, I giggled so hard when that happened. And I know it's supposed to be an emotional moment, but I was like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Keep an eye on
the woman he loves died.
Keep Alan at a distance.
That's funny, right, honey? It's funny, isn't it?
Next time you come over, we're gonna have somebody. Ryan, you got to come next time Alan comes. I need a safeguard.
Just don't die in front of me, so I won't.
Yeah, don't let Alan sit behind you in the theater.
Right. Melissa's not coming down here, nor my daughter. Well, cool, man. I don't really have anything else. You guys have anything else you need to say?
Yeah, man.
To say?
That was fun to talk about that one.
Honestly,
I'm excited for what comes next.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm more excited about the potential that this world has than I was about the story of this film, what I knew about it going in.
I mean, to be honest, I had very little interest in the animated prequel, but then seeing that one little screen grab that he showed of the animation style, I was like, okay, I'm actually into that.
It's almost it's like a combination of live action and Spider-Verse looking weird.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see budget wise how it flows as far as the actual motion of it.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how they do that. But as far as an art style, I dig it. Well, cool.
Great.
That's pretty much all I got. Appreciate everybody coming in, chatting away.
Heck yeah,
it was fun. I know it's Memorial Day. A lot of people are out doing stuff, but we appreciate you.
Happy Memorial Day, everybody. by the way. Yeah, we
Absolutely.
probably should have said that at the beginning, but you know.
We did. You were gone.
We did, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. My bad. That's my bad.
Yeah, you're gone. We
anyways.
were buying time. So
how are you?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, Ryan, won't you well actually, Alan, do you have anything you want to plug? CapeCast, you got the shirt. Plug us, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go. Get some these shirts feel really
this
soft.
Is so meta right now.
I know it's I can pull a Enosh. But no,
Carrot Top.
You guys can, everybody can follow me on Instagram, lunchbag_dad, and see all that.
You guys should definitely do that. Yep.
No, right now we're wrapping up the end of the school year, so I am running on empty right now. I am drawing off of fumes at the moment. So
Dude, I know the feeling. I do the napkins for Luna, and I'm like, what can I draw? I've done this for 3 years now, and I'm like, what can I draw that I haven't drawn already? It's like, I don't know. I'm redrawing things just differently, like because I don't have any new ideas. So, but
nice.
Yeah, and that's me.
Nice.
I've actually Cal scrolled through my I have a photo album on my phone where I take a picture of all of them, and I just store them into that. So that way, if somebody wants to see them, I don't have to show them, my shirtless pictures I send to Mandy or whatever. They just get the lunchbag picture. He's scrolling through and he was like, "You drew that?" And I'm like, "Man, I could totally reuse some of these things. You never even know it." I just pull it out of the box,
exactly,
stick it in the bag. But
doesn't even see. That's the thing. I'm like, does Luna even appreciate this? I do this every day. Like now, it's just expected. I don't even
just take a couple days off and see what happens.
Yeah. Right. It's like not paying your bills. You think people don't care? Don't pay your mortgage. See who cares then. But no, Cal, I actually told him, I was like, well, Bubba, you're in the 3rd grade. You're going to the 4th. So 6th grade, you're probably going to be too old for this, right?
We're growing out of that.
Never. He said never. And I was like, oh, nice. I hope so. I mean, I complain about it, but man, it'd be awesome. But actually, Trey, awesome. he's in the 8th grade, and he's got statewide testing right now. So they have to eat lunch in their classroom so that they can't communicate with other students. I'm glad they didn't do that when I was a kid. I'd still be in high school probably. But so he's like, Dad, they give us this bag lunch and it's like a peanut butter sandwich and it sucks. Can you guys pack me a lunch? And I was like, yeah, we can do that. And he said, can you draw me a bag? And I've never drawn a bag for Trey because he was too old when I started it. So I had to like up my game. He's playing Destiny 2. So I drew one of the ghosts from Destiny 2.
Nice.
So
that's
things
awesome.
like that. So yeah, it's cool. I'm doing double duty now. I'm drawing bags for both kids. So yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, definitely check out Alan at Lunchback Dad on Insta. Lots of good stuff on there. For those of you so we've been kind of like hit or miss lately because we've had other things going on and internet issues and things like that. Sorry, I didn't get to read that, but I'll read it in a second.
Yeah, Nani's on fire right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Good idea. Good idea. But yeah, I imagine that we're going to start doing more weekly, kind of similar to what we do with Cinema Machine. If there's not anything to review, we'll just talk about what's going on. Most probably in Snyder world, you know how we do. So
I mean, there's a lot of DC movies in production right now. So we're gonna start getting a lot of
Marvel
news,
stuff. We still, we'll have Loki.
Coming out. Forgot about them.
We'll bring Mr. Dan Brett. We'll bring him back on so he can school us in Marvel.
Right.
But it'll be good. But yeah,
for sure.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Definitely. If you're watching here on YouTube, give us a subscribe, hit the notification bell so you stay up to date on everything that we're posting. We're also on Twitter at CapeCast Show. We're on there every day, all the time. So definitely hit us up there, chat us up on Twitter. And then we are also, as a channel, we're on Instagram at Cinema Machine Pod. And we talk more like general movies on there. So Definitely give us a follow in all those areas, and of course get your shirt. Alan's wearing the shirt. It's a comfy shirt, isn't it?
It is. I might sleep in it tonight.
Nice.
Whoa!
Send us some
All right,
pictures
man.
of that.
Okay. All right. All right, gents.
Yeah.
Until next time. Later
So
on.
long.